Second overtime. Georgia 54, Oklahoma 48. Emmanuel Beal stuffs Swift for a loss of 2. Then from motions out of the backfield to set up a direct snap to Michel. What a game. Blocked field goal. Whose second OT drive again begins with Anderson going up the middle. He gains 5, then OU fakes a pop pass, but Mayfield can't connect with Andrews. On 3rd and 5, Georgia jumps offside. Mayfield is picked off going for a free play touchdown, but it's 1st and 10 from the 15. Murray's back in the game and gains nothing on an option pitch. Then Roquan eats up a screen to Anderson. Smith has been unbelievable, as expected. On 3rd and 12, a shallow cross to Brown gains only 7, and Carter blocks Seibert's 27-yard field goal. Georgia needs only a field goal to win. First overtime. Oklahoma 48, Georgia 48. Anderson goes up the middle for 4 yards. Then Brown takes a pop pass to the left corner for 4 more. 3rd and 2. Roquan Smith stuffs a strange end around to Jordan Smallwood a yard short of the sticks. OU thinks about going for it on 4th and 1. Then has to call timeout because of the play clock as Seibert heads onto the field for the game-tying field goal. Then Georgia calls timeout as well. Seibert makes it all the same. We head to double OT. Georgia 48, Oklahoma 45. OU wins the toss and gives the ball to Georgia to start. Chubb is stopped by Okoronkwo for a gain of 1 on 1st down. Then Michel gains 3 up the middle. 3rd and 6. From throws behind Isaac Nauta over the middle, and the tight end can't reel it in. Blankenship's 38-yarder is true. Georgia up 3. OU can win with a touchdown. 4th quarter. 0-0. Georgia kneels it out. Overtime. With all the stakes in the world. What an incredible game. 0-17. Starting from the 25, Mayfield quickly finds Brown for a 12-yard gain, then fires incomplete. Anderson runs for 8 yards, and OU calls timeout with 29 seconds left. Instead of having Mayfield run for the 1st down, though, the Sooners attempt a wheel route, and it falls incomplete with 24 seconds left. Seibert's punt goes out of bounds at the UGA 25 with 17 seconds left. 0-55. Touchdown. Georgia 45, Oklahoma 45. The most important drive of the season for the Georgia offense. 1st and 10 from the UGA 41. Michel gains 4 yards up the middle. 2nd and 6 from the 45. Facing a blitz, from fires quickly to Godwin, who turns upfield for 15 yards. 1st and 10 from the OU 40. From narrowly avoids a pass rusher. Starts to tuck and run, then dumps to Michel, who rumbles for 17 yards. Huge. 1st and 10 from the 23. From has to scramble again and is brought down by D.J. Ward for no gain as the clock goes under 90 seconds remaining. 2nd and 10 from the 23. From has to throw the ball away. 3rd and 10 from the 23. With great protection, From finds Godwin open over the middle for 16 yards. 1st and goal from the 7. A lob to Wims draws a very necessary pass interference penalty from Norwood. 1st and goal from the 2. Direct snap to Chubb, who scores. But there are 55 seconds left. Plenty of time. 3:22. The most important drive of the season for the Georgia defense. 1st and 10 from the 23. Anderson gains 5 yards on a counter. 2nd and 5 from the 28. Mayfield scrambles for 2 yards off of a play fake but is caught by Lorenzo Carter as the clock moves under 4 minutes. 3rd and 3 from the 30. OU runs the option to the right. But Anderson is too close to Mayfield. The pitch is awkward and DeAndre Wacker and Clark stuff him for no gain. Georgia calls its first timeout with 3:32 left, and Seibert's punt takes a Georgia bounce backwards to the UGA 41. 5:16. Ogbonnia Okoronkwo stuffs Chubb for no gain. Then From scrambles for 5 to set up the biggest 3rd down of the game. From fires low for Godwin, and Nizialek's punt rolls out of bounds at the 23. 6:52. Oklahoma 45, Georgia 38. Touchdown. Michel gains 5 yards. Then From finds a sliding Hardman along the sideline for 15 yards to the UGA 45. But then, disaster. Michel breaks a tackle running left. But he's stripped by Caleb Kelly, and the ball bounces right into Stephen Parker's hands. Parker tiptoes the sidelines, cuts into the middle of the field and goes 46 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. The Sooners lead. Wow. 8-47. Oklahoma 38, Georgia 38. Touchdown. Anderson bullies his way for 15 yards to start his drive. Then Lamb makes a lovely 36-yard catch over Tyreek McGee. A design draw by Mayfield gains 22 more. Then Mayfield scrambles left and finds Flowers for an 11-yard score. OU was dead in the water, then went 88 yards in 6 plays to tie the game. Wow. Because, here's where I remind you that OU gifted Georgia 3 points at the end of the first half. 10-43. Huge stop by OU. Chubb gains 3 yards. A pass to Wims gains another 3, and the Sooners send the house on 3rd and 4. From is called for intentional grounding trying to avoid a sack by Kenneth Murray. Niziolek booms a 58-yarder. And Lamb looks like he's got an alley for a big return, but Sanders trips him up at the OU 12. Georgia is making every shoestring tackle right now. 12-19. OU begins with an end-around to Brown that looks promising. But Roquan Smith plays it perfectly, and it gains just 1. Anderson picks up 4 to set up a 3rd and 5. But despite an OU hold, a pass to Andrews comes up short of the chains. Another 3 and out. Seibert's punt checks up short, too. A nightmarish half continues for the Crimson and Cream. Mayfield in the second half. 4 for 8 for 19 yards, 3 sacks, and an interception. Average starting field position in the second half. UGA 48, OU 15. 13-57. Georgia 38, Oklahoma 31. Touchdown. The Dogs take the lead. From to Wims. A 24-0 run by UGA. 14-48. Interception. Dominic Sanders picks off a terribly overthrown Mayfield pass on the first play of the quarter. Sanders returns it 39 yards to the OU 4. The Dogs are about to take the lead. Third quarter. 0-0. Whose nightmare third quarter comes to an end with increasingly familiar circumstances. 3rd and long. 3rd and 10 from the 18, to be precise. What a dominant quarter for the Dogs. 0-41. Georgia 31, Oklahoma 31. Touchdown. Once again, the first play of Georgia's drive is nice. An 11-yard catch by Godwin. Chubb is stuffed for a loss on the next play, but From finds Wims for 20 yards against a blitz. Ball at the OU 41. After a short run by Michel and a throwaway by From. It's 3rd and 7 as the clock ticks down in the quarter. OU desperately needs a stop. And doesn't even come close. From changes the play at the line. And Michel takes a straight handoff and rolls untouched for a 38-yard score. This game had gotten away from Georgia late in the first half. The Dogs have been perfect since. 3-16. A Mayfield draw earns OU's first down of the second half. But Georgia doesn't bite on a flea flicker that falls incomplete. And Roquan Smith slows down a Mayfield scramble for 2 yards. Opening parenthesis. A very large Georgia defender lands on Mayfield at the end of the play. And he stays on the ground hurt for a moment. Closing parenthesis. On 3rd and 8, a curious call. Draw play. Closing parenthesis. Turns into a great one. Anderson weaves around tacklers for 25 yards out to the OU 39. From there, OU goes backwards. Mayfield takes another coverage sack. This time from Ledbetter. Then falls victim to a stunt and gets sacked again. Clark. That's 5. On 3rd and forever, Anderson goes nowhere and Seibert's punt is fair caught at the 29. 8-08. After 2 Michel rushes gain 6 yards. Swift accidentally runs into his lineman and falls just short on 3rd down. And despite a ground game averaging 16 yards per carry, Georgia punts on 4th and inches. Come on. Niziolek's gorgeous punt is down at the 2, and I still hate that call. 10. After Anderson is stuffed on first down, Mayfield finds Lamb for a short gain, then takes a huge team picture sack from Lorenzo Carter and pretty much every other member of the UGA front seven. 2 3-and-outs to start the second half. Seibert's punt is downed at the 28. This game has completely changed. 12-25. Oklahoma 31, Georgia 24. Touchdown. No, that was exactly the start UGA needed. On the Dogs' first snap, Chubb runs through tackles at the line of scrimmage and rumbles 50 yards for a touchdown. OU was up 17 with 6 seconds left in the first half. The lead's already down to 7. 12-36. After a short cadet kick return, OU begins the half from its 14. Anderson gains 3 yards, then Mayfield loses 2 on a scramble. On 3rd and 9. A quick sling to Brown only gains 8 and Hardman returns a Seibert punt to midfield. Exactly the start UGA needed. Halftime. Some stats. OU. Mayfield. 13 for 18 for 200 yards and a touchdown and 2 sacks. 2 non-sack carries for 12 yards and a 2-yard touchdown reception. Anderson. 13 carries for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. Opening parenthesis. Sermon has 2 carries for 34 yards, 2. Closing parenthesis. Brown. 4 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown. Georgia. From 12 for 17 for 109 yards, a touchdown, and 2 sacks. Chubb and Mitchell. 8 carries for 184 yards and a touchdown. Maybe, give them the ball more. By the way, this has been about the best display of first down offense you'll ever see. Georgia has run 16 plays on first down for 239 yards. Who's run 19 for 182. Riley and Cheney had their respective units all sorts of prepared for this one. Second quarter. 0-0. Oklahoma 31, Georgia 17. An OU squib kick goes awry, and Georgia downs it at the OU 47 with 5 seconds left. That allows for a short pass to Godwin, a timeout, and a 55-yard attempt from Blankenship. He nails it. Georgia is still in trouble, but that was a gift 3 points from the Sooners. Never squib. Never ever squib. 0-06. Oklahoma 31, Georgia 14. This time Lamb takes an end around to the right. But this time he fires to Mayfield, who has drifted open in the end zone. Touchdown. Absolutely gorgeous. 0-13. With Murray back in the backfield, Bidette takes a jet sweep. Well, a jet sweep pass. Around the right side, but Roquan Smith and Lorenzo Carter keep him out of the end zone. OU calls another timeout. 3rd down from the 2. 0-20. Tyler Clark blows up a handoff to Flowers, and OU calls timeout. 2nd down from the 6. 0-25. Sermon immediately flips the field back with a 31-yard run down the right flank. But Anderson is stopped for a yard, and Mayfield misses Lamb deep over the middle. On 3rd and 9, though, Mayfield hits Brown on a shallow cross and he shoots upfield for 45 yards. Goodness, he's fast. After a 6-yard pass to Lamb, Anderson gains 3, and Mayfield sneaks ahead for a 1st and goal from the 2. With 25 seconds left in the half, Oklahoma comes out with a weird quick huddle thing, and Georgia calls timeout. OU comes back out with 2 quarterbacks, Mayfield and backup Kyler Murray, in the backfield, and Kirby Smart calls another timeout. Cat and mouse. Who's about to score and gets the ball to start the second half. Smart has to do everything he can to hold the Sooners to a field goal. 3-28. Georgia's not backed up for long as Chubb bursts up the left sideline for 45 yards. But Stephen Parker sacks from on a perfect safety blitz. Why are you throwing so much, Georgia? And Trey Norwood breaks up a lob to Wims. On 3rd and 17, a dump to Michelle gains 9, and Nizialek pins OU at the 10. No points, but the Dogs flip the field, at least. 5-37. Anderson's back in, and his first carry gains 7 yards. On 2nd down, however, Mayfield gets a little too comfortable and waits too long to find an open man. David Marshall trips him up, and on 3rd and 12, a pass to Brown comes up short. Humongous stop by the Dogs. Even though Seibert's punt takes an amazing bounce and goes out of bounds at the UGA 2. 7:42. A good Mecole Hardman kick return is negated somewhat by an illegal block, and UGA starts at its 20. Wims takes another short pass 16 yards. But after a short swift run from misfires to both Ridley and Michel, and Niziolek half shanks a punt to only the OU 42. Lots of pressure on the Georgia defense right now. 9:12. Field goal. Oklahoma 24, Georgia 14. Mayfield looks left, then fires to Andrews over the middle for 29 yards. Then to Anderson carries gain 7 yards to set up another 3rd down. On the second carry, about 600 pounds worth of Georgia defenders land on top of him, presumably knocking his breath out. He stays down on the sideline for a while. With Anderson out, Mayfield fakes to backup Trey Sermon and runs an easy keeper for a 1st down. From the 32, 2 shots to Lamb can't connect. One on a double-covered deep ball, and one off his hands on a slant, which sets up the first actual 3rd and long of the afternoon. And the Sooners convert. A gorgeous screen to Lamb gains 14 into the UGA red zone. Sermon gains 3 yards, then Lamb drops another contested pass over the middle. 3rd and long again. And Georgia finally gets a stop. Kyler Clark captures Mayfield in a collapsing pocket, forcing OU to settle for a 38-yard Austin Seibert field goal. Small victories. 14:00. Touchdown. Oklahoma 21, Georgia 14. Damn. Sony Michel, 75 yards. Touchdown. Georgia used motion to get OU's linebackers out of position, and Michel hit the Jets. This is a hell of a football game, you guys. 14:12. Touchdown. Oklahoma 21, Georgia 7. Mayfield finds Mark Andrews for 11 yards to start the quarter, then it's Anderson again. He bolts left for 41 yards and a 3rd touchdown in 3 OU drives. 17 plays, 209 yards, 21 points. Mayfield is 6 for 7. Anderson has 8 carries for 107 yards. This is already the 3rd most points Georgia has allowed in a game this year. Georgia will still probably make adjustments and figure some things out. But what's the score going to be when that happens? First quarter. 0:00. It took almost the entire first quarter for Georgia to force a 3rd down. But on 3rd and 3, Mayfield easily finds CeeDee Lamb for 10 yards to the OU 48. That's how a thrilling first quarter ends. 1:48. A Chubb cutback gains 11 to start Georgia's 3rd drive. Then carries by Chubb and DeAndre Swift combine to gain 7. On 3rd and 3, Brum easily finds Warner to move the chains again. And for good measure, he connects with Warner again for 11 yards to the OU 38. An easy pass to Tyler Simmons gains 9 yards. But after a false start, Pernell Motley eats up a quick RPO pass to Terry Godwin to set up a 3rd and 5. From pass to dump to Michel under pressure, and Motley takes him down 3 yards short. Rodrigo Blankenship's 48-yard attempt drifts just left. Feels like a service break. 6:56. Touchdown. Oklahoma 14, Georgia 7. A 9-yard pass to Brown and a 3-yard rush by Anderson move the chains for OU. And after an incomplete deep shot toward Brown, it's the Rodney Anderson show. He bolts 45 yards down the left sideline, gains 9, then gains 9 again for a touchdown. OU has gained 140 yards in 12 plays. Goodness. 8:27. Touchdown. Georgia 7, Oklahoma 7. Exactly what Georgia needed. Chubb hits the corner on the first play of the Dogs' second drive and rumbles for 25 yards. 2 plays later, Sony Michel races off right tackle for 20 more to the OU 29. From fires high again to Warner, who reels the ball in for his short gain, then the freshman makes a nice pass to Wims for 14 yards. From there, he finds Michel out of the backfield for a 13-yard score. Not sure they even needed to throw the ball on that drive, but it worked. 11:31. Touchdown. Oklahoma 7, Georgia 0. after Jonathan Ledbetter eats up Rodney Anderson for no gain on U's first play. Baker Mayfield rolls right and hits H-back Dimitri Flowers wide open over the middle on back passes for 16 and 26 yards. After a hands-to-the-face penalty on a short Mark Andrews catch, OU is already inside the UGA red zone. From the 15, Mayfield flips to Anderson for a 2-yard gain, then hits Marquise Brown in the end zone off of play action. That was easy. Georgia will adjust, but it better happen pretty quickly. 13-37. Georgia comes out throwing, trying to get Jake Fromm in an early rhythm. He hits Javon Wims, who cuts upfield for 21 yards, but Wims drops a second pass. After a 3-yard Nick Chubb run, it's the first 3rd and long of the game. Fromm has time but throws off target on a pretty easy pass to tight end Charlie Warner. Cameron Niziolek's first punt is boomed into the end zone. Guess we didn't learn just a ton about U's defense there. But you'll take a 4 and out on every possession. 15-0. Oklahoma wins the toss and defers to the second half. Really curious about how both of these defenses will handle the unique tests ahead of them. We'll find out something about OU's D first. Preview by Christian Dandria. The Rose Bowl has traditionally been a showdown between the West Coast and Middle America as the Pac-12 and Big Ten champions have gone to battle in sunny Los Angeles. But in 2018, thanks to the College Football Playoff, it will give 2 of the nation's top 4 teams a rare opportunity to watch the Parade of the Roses live. Kickoff in the semifinal game between the No. 2 Oklahoma Sooners and No. 3 Georgia Bulldogs is scheduled for 5 p.m. ET and will be broadcast on ESPN live stream. It's the Bulldogs' first Rose Bowl since the 1942 season when they beat UCLA in a 9-0 barn burner. For the Sooners, it's their first postseason trip to the City of Angels since the 2002 season, when Nate Hibble led the team to a big win over Washington State. 2017 Heisman Trophy winner Baker Mayfield will try to outgun a Bulldogs offense led by a potent 3-headed rushing attack. Georgia ran for an impressive 5.8 yards per carry this fall. The Bulldogs need to be just as productive to keep up with the Sooners' 3rd-ranked passing offense on Monday. Time, TV channel, and streaming info. Time 5 p.m. ET. Location Rose Bowl, Pasadena, Calif. TV ESPN. Streaming Watch ESPN. Odds Georgia is favored by 2.5 points. Georgia vs. Oklahoma News. Can Oklahoma's defense slow down Georgia's devastating running game? OU heads in ranked a paltry 95th in S&P+. The Sooners are the only CFP team without a top 10 defense. And they're not even close to that mark. They've gotten away with it because of their absurdly good offense. But it's safe to assume that Mayfield and company aren't going to put up 50 points on UGA. The Sooner D is going to need to make some stops. Despite the overall numbers, OU has spent half the season playing solid defense. The other half, not so much. Opposite that, here are 3 questions UGA must answer to stop Baker Mayfield. Question 1. What kind of personnel package allows you to match up Oklahoma's base 21 personnel grouping 2 RBs, 1 T, 2 WRs is difficult to match up against a head coach from the Mike Leach tree who also regularly trots out of T and FB is pretty unique. But the way the Sooners do it really complements the air raid elements. Georgia's having a great December, both on the field and on the recruiting trail. Miami safety Netiv Joseph visited Georgia late in the recruiting process but appeared set to stick with his commitment to the Alabama Crimson Tide this morning. But it was not to be. And the Bulldog coaching staff landed one nationally ranked recruit on the day. Joseph has tapped the 18 cornerback in the nation and the 161 prospect overall by 247 Sports. Joseph was an LSU commit prior to his Tide pledge, but had been on the UGA staff's radar for quite a while. Which school has produced the better running back talent in its history, Oklahoma or Georgia? A laundry list of big-time ball carriers is the foundation of any RBU argument. For Georgia, guys like Frank Sinkwich, Charlie Trippi, Willie McClendon, Rodney Hampton, Lars Tate, Garrison Hurst, Terrell Davis, Noshan Moreno, Todd Gurley, and even current Bulldog Nick Chubb reinforce any RBU claims in Athens. You may have noticed how I didn't even mention the legendary Herschel Walker, who is arguably the greatest college football player, regardless of position, in history. The Vengeance win over Auburn was a massive boost for Georgia's confidence heading into bowl season. Back on point, the great thing, and there were many great things about this game, is the redemption. And the fact that we will not have to hear about the November 11th loss ever again. Ever. Yeah, we might get to see a highlight whenever someone features Auburn in the future. But that game was nothing but a bad memory that has been instantly erased. We had the last laugh and they don't get a mulligan. That must burn. Can Jake Fromm live up to the pressure of his first bowl game? Fromm usurped Jacob Eason's starting role as a true freshman this year. And while he shined in the SEC title game, the young passer will face more pressure than ever before to perform in the biggest game of UGA's season to date. Fortunately, the Bulldogs don't need him to be prolific in order to win. Fromm only has 3 games this season in which he's thrown for 200-plus yards. If the Sooners can't stop the Georgia running game, Eason could have all the latitude he needs to pick the Oklahoma secondary apart. Georgia vs. Oklahoma prediction. Mayfield's singular talent could be enough to push the Sooners to victory. But a more balanced Georgia team takes this one in a high-scoring affair. Be sure to check out all our bowl predictions here.